Welcome to Story Ideas on the Fly, the show where we take an idea out of a hat and develop it into a story idea.
Okay, let's see. Grab 3, pick one.
Okay. The 7 deadly sins stalk the world, reaping human souls. But their little-known younger brother, Cowardice, is already in charge.
All right, you want the 7 deadly
Yeah,
sins?
somebody write them down. I don't know all of them.
Pride in the greed, lust,
and
sloth, gluttony, and wrath.
Yes, okay.
There you go.
Greed,
lust,
sloth,
Wrath.
Cowardice.
No,
gluttony,
wrath, yeah.
and wrath.
These guys clearly don't study enough demonology.
Okay, so their little brother, Cowardice, what does it say?
Cowardice is already in charge.
What kind of world do we want to work in for this? We could be in any.
Let's see.
Honestly, sounds urban fantasy to me.
It sounds very much like a corporation.
No, I think this is just
Like
about
the CEO.
I think this is just a bunch of this is just if they have a little brother Cowardice, I was thinking that they're all just a dysfunctional family.
I actually kind of like that. So,
Where let's say Pride and Lust are the parents, and then the others are the older children, and then Cowardice is the youngest.
Okay, well, they're going to somehow Cowardice. It says they stalk the world, reaping human souls.
Okay.
So why would these?
well,
this
because they're
family-
demons, obviously.
Yeah,
Well,
demons
what
or
are-
some kind of soul-sucking monsters or, Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so I was thinking, if we could do it as a company, and they kind of steal people's souls through, transactions. Kind
Okay.
of things like that. Kind of like a sleazy company taking their
Oh,
money.
I
Like,
can
instead of
give
taking
you
their
I
money,
can
they're
give you
taking
whatever
their
you
souls.
want
But they're
in
taking
exchange for your soul.
spiritual-
Yes.
Okay.
And
Well,
so in
Like
this
like a
case-
demon's deal.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say it doesn't necessarily have to be literally I'm stealing your soul, but I'm corrupting you to the point
That's
Yeah.
usually how it's depicted.
reaping human
What if
souls.
they're
It can be either
what
way.
if it's a business, but they're all different companies? So in a sense, let's say Greed could be running a casino.
No, greed would be the main one running a company. The others aren't so much.
But Greed is the one running a casino.
Yeah, casino. That would be a
Yeah.
okay.
So what if this is a
Obviously,
mafia?
doing a brothel.
Ooh.
What if this is a mafia called the
Okay.
7 Deadly Sins, and they run different organizations, and so this is a magic noir detective story
Magic?
where the 7 Deadly Sins are the villains that the detective is investigating.
Okay.
Okay.
So we've got they're running a casino,
Yeah, so
and our
At least
boss.
greed is. I mean, I'm sure there's some other things too. I'm sure lust is running something
brothel.
too, but
Yes. All
Very
right.
true.
it doesn't have to be directly.
All right.
Okay, she's the back room of the casino. Anyway, point being, I think there are. It doesn't have to be just one casino, but it could be.
Okay,
yeah.
yes, but the really interesting thing here is the odd one out, Cowardice. How does he fit into all this? So they're running a mafia in a magic noir story world.
All right.
So how does Cowardice come into here?
Well, so I mean, on a spiritual level, because cowardice is the point where everything breaks. It doesn't matter, you can be humble and patient and all the 7 heavenly virtues you want, but if you don't have the courage to follow through with it, it does you no good. So that's kind of the
Okay. How about this? We've got because it says Cowardice is already in charge. What if Cowardice is their accountant? And
Ooh.
he is skimming money off of them. And so he
well, he owns yeah.
right, so he already
He's got everything under his
right
in his control.
so he's got things all under his control because he's controlling the money and he's very conveniently given himself quite a bunch. And then he
Well, he doesn't just have to give it to himself too. He can also, control what other people, what everyone else gets, and go, oh yeah, your budget's a little tight. Well, if you did this,
so
get all.
so now we could make our accountant. Coward. But at the same
Cowardice, yeah.
time, you could call him cowardice because instead of being upfront, instead of saying what he's doing,
Yeah,
he's
no.
doing this. No, not me. I'm not
No,
brave enough to
this
tell
is-
you what I'm doing. Yeah.
Little unassuming accountant.
So I'd really put more envy in that position, but
I was thinking, if we were to do that where he's sort of where he puts on this like very cowardly persona up front, but then he's being sleazy in the back. What if all of these characters, what if all the seven sins, what if Michael and I were talking just recently, Mike, not Michael, Mike and I were talking recently about stories with the seven deadly sins as like bases for characters. And so like what if they act like their characters align with the sin, but then the things that they do aren't. So like what if Sloth seems very laid back and relaxed, but he likes things to be constantly running and moving all the time.
Mhm.
And so he always seems like he's just a very slow moving person, but in the background everything is just moving at fast.
so
Thanks.
there's two main problems with that, and the main one is well, okay, no, there's a problem with that relates to something else. It's more like what I'm saying. So I don't think that these people chose to be the seven deadly sins and like specifically said we're going to be them for the sole purpose of when there's of the fact that they're it throwing cowardice in here really throws a kink into all the things. And so if they would like were just people who chose like the names of the seven deadly sins as code names or something, then they wouldn't have chosen cowardice as the eighth. They would have chosen vanity, because vanity is usually considered the eighth sin, traditionally. But since they're using the seven deadly sins, they probably go with something like that.
Well,
Also, the way it was worded to me sounded a lot more like these aren't people who have the seven deadly sins as personas, but more like these are the actual essences, and they're trying to like corrupt people with their
Well,
sins. But everyone's too afraid for
I wouldn't
anything.
see any of them as thinking themselves, I'm greed, I'm envy, I'm pride.
Yeah.
I would see them just being that way because
Yeah.
they're
Mhm.
in this corporation and that's how they run it.
yeah.
Yeah, Heather, go ahead.
You could either make this Evils Incorporated or Hell Incorporated. I mean, C.S. Lewis thought that Hell looked more like a business than anything else. But so you could make it where these are these are the demons of pride, envy, sloth, and all these things, and cowardice is or you could just use these as you could use these as you don't necessarily have to say this is pride and this is envy and this
They're
is
like
lust. You can
archetypes.
Yeah,
use
I
them
think
as
if you want to
archetypes.
use them in saying they know their
Mhm.
pride and envy, then you need to go the demon route.
Yeah.
If you want to just have them be businessmen, no, they think they are cunning and smart and all the
Mhm.
good things. Because most of the time, people who
Yeah.
are proud and don't realize they are.
Yeah.
They don't think they are.
Yeah.
Because anybody, evil doesn't
Mhm.
see themselves as evil.
Yeah,
No.
but the thing
Yeah.
I'm pointing out is it specifically said reaping souls, didn't it?
Well,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
but
So-
reaping souls could also mean if you've got something and you're preying off people and you are getting them in debt to you,
You
you're
are
kind of
reaping
reaping
souls?
their
I
souls.
think this is their demons. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
is
that's
I think
that's
they're
fine.
You
demons.
want to go with demons,
You
right?
Yeah,
could
reaping
also
souls, I
have
would
other
suggest mixing them
you
with
could also
demons.
have other sins like vanity and stuff.
Oh yeah,
just
that's
because they're
what I'm
not
saying.
listed doesn't mean that they're not
I
major
think there are more than
characters.
just the seven deadly sins in here. Is what I'm saying. There are other demons, and so that's
Now,
what I'm saying. This
If we're going
Mhm.
straight demons, I do like the idea of at least, it doesn't have to be with all of them, but having somebody
Having
in
some
there
of them with
who is not at all what the name appears. I like that
That would
idea.
be really
Yeah,
fun.
because like my idea is if they are demons, then they put on this demonic persona,
Yeah.
but it could be entirely that they truly act behind closed doors a completely different way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're demons, we have to act
Well,
this way.
I would say
We're the bad
I
guys of
think not
humanity.
only that, but I think
Or-
a lot of them would act in a way not so much in line with their sin, but
But
in
in
line
line
with
with
what
trying to
people
corrupt people into going with
exactly.
it.
So like lust would not be just a okay. I don't want
Actually,
to
lust
describe
would
that.
probably end up doing
Yeah,
a lot of
but
that.
like, okay,
'cause
let-
it's
let me
But
see.
corrupting
lust
to
would
do
be
it.
a hot girl because
Yeah.
that's what corrupts people
Or
into
a
it.
guy who's surrounded by hot girls all the time. But
no,
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Is
Mhm.
he wouldn't appear as a guy surrounded by hot girls as much because his goal is not so much to feed his own sin, but to cause other people to feed the sins.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So if that's the whole thing,
Does that mean that Pride would actually be a life coach?
He's a therapist.
and so that's the thing. And that's the thing. You have pride and envy, but behind closed doors, they're both very proud. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
But they can't act like that in front of people because obviously they're here to help you because you deserve better.
Because
Ouch.
their powers are fueled by humans expressing these
Exactly.
sins.
Because
They don't have
Okay.
that actual sin itself. They just are fueled
well, I
by
think they
that.
would. I think they would be more inclined to the sins than
But
Yeah.
they don't
normal
all
people.
have
But they
to.
don't all have
Yeah.
to. And
But
they
they
can
don't
all
have to
have
act
different
like
Okay,
personalities.
so these are our villains.
Okay.
Who is Cowardice and who is our hero?
Yeah, I like Cowardice as the accountant, and I don't think anyone else even knows that he's got it. Well, it says he does. Nobody else knows that he's actually running all the.
He's already in charge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's actually running everything.
So really, something is happening that everyone is basically afraid. What are people afraid of?
Actually, I think Cowardice is going to be your main villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
what if-
Definitely.
Okay, what
Yeah.
if this is like an organization? They're still demons, but if this is like some sort of organization. What if none of the seven deadly sins are the boss? No one knows who the boss is, and it's constantly implied that the boss is like basically this world's version of Satan or something like that.
Uh-huh.
But actually, it's Cowardice. Cowardice is actually the boss of it.
Oh, I
He's
like
the
that.
he's the actual boss, but he constantly puts on this very timid and shy
Okay,
character.
so if these are demons, then I think with Cowardice he wants to make people afraid, and so with Cowardice he wants his idea is he's the main villain and nobody realizes it, and what he's doing is that he's controlling the other seven deadly sins out and to cause more problems and see other
Yeah.
people them as demons so that they
Yeah.
become
No,
afraid
no.
of them.
Here's how Cowardice has done it. Here's how Cowardice has taken charge. He's revealed the existence of demons to the world.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Which is
people are
what you were
terrified of
saying,
them.
basically, is he's
Yeah.
making them
So,
afraid of
question. Should we make the hero a pope?
it. No.
No.
Not specifically a Catholic pope.
No.
But they
Well, who
but something
should-
like that where they're just someone who's fairly high up in religion and so they'd have some kind of power over demons.
Still like the idea of this sort of being like a detective.
I still like kind of the almost noir detective thing, but here's the thing: I could definitely imagine these demons would come take humanoid forms so that they could manipulate people.
He could be an angel, or maybe he could be like,
Angel detective.
or maybe he could be like a human whose one parent was an angel and one parent was a human. So
So because here's the thing: demons would not want to reveal themselves to other people because that makes it harder for it to
Ooh.
corrupt them.
Here, Heather's getting a good idea here. Y'all
Oh,
want
I'm
to see
doing
what
in
she's
the
writing down?
I'm writing the seven virtues.
virtue.
If I
You
can
can
remember
either
what they all
have-
are.
You know, a human hero who kind of makes up his team of getting the seven virtues to counter them, or you could have angels kind of counting
Mhm.
them coming down, or
So you
something.
could have one hero who has to face all these. If you want to go more, I guess this might be more allegorical, but you could have one hero that has to face them, but for each of these people, each of these demons he has to face, he has to get help from someone.
Yes, or he has to go through something to learn each of the different
virtues.
things. Yeah, the compassion, temperance, charity.
It depends on if you
I
wanted
need
to
to
make it
remember
more
what the
an
others are.
action adventure
Obviously.
story for entertainment, or if you want to do an actual critique on theology and stuff. And
Well, no, it
He's a
could be
good
very
person.
interesting though, him
Yeah.
having to go on these adventures to learn these different traits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, to really.
And to take out these different demons, because I don't think they're going to go down easily.
Would that mean that he starts off as a very flawed character and probably not necessarily a very likable character?
He doesn't have to start off as flawed. He just doesn't have to start off as, I mean, okay, if you put me in this situation, I mean, yes, I've got my flaws, but I'm not a horribly flawed
Yeah,
person.
Okay.
But I'm still an over my head. And so
Yeah.
there's still so much to learn.
Well,
You know,
I think
especially
what you do with him.
wait a second, is patience, by the way, one of the
Oh,
counter things?
yes. Patience.
Patience is wrath's counter.
Oh. Sorry. Sorry. But
so-
yes.
You know, I
Well-
study demonology way too much.
Okay, what
Okay,
are the
you
7
fix it
counters?
for
Okay.
us.
Well,
Okay,
what-
pride is humility, envy is kindness, greed is charity, lust is chastity, sloth is diligence, gluttony is temperance, and wrath is not compassion, it is patience.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
patience.
so
Sorry,
patience,
I
because
can't remember. I
kindness was
messed
up
it up.
here. Patience, kindness.
Kindness,
What was sloth?
Diligence.
Diligence.
Okay.
Okay. You could
Well,
go that route.
One thing though is
if
that
you
if
wanted.
we're going with the route of the main character has to learn all these traits in order to defeat each demon, that would suggest that he has all the 7 deadly sins.
No,
Or-
no, it
or-
doesn't.
Well, maybe not
Actually-
to a very.
Yeah, not to a
I-
very large
Okay,
degree. It
I
would suggest
I
he
am
has
not a
them.
wrathful person. You know, I don't do a lot of yelling, screaming, all those things. That doesn't mean I'm patient.
I know.
Well,
No,
no, but
a lot of what makes a lot of the point of this is that it's not just the absence of evil, but it's the courage that's going to ultimately save the
okay,
day.
That makes sense.
So he
Oh, there
doesn't
you
have to
go.
be deeply flawed or doing all these horrible
Yeah, I wasn't
things.
saying deeply flawed. I was just saying
Or
stuff
even-
like he thought it was really
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, what he needs, what
would
he's
occasionally
probably
get envious.
what I would do if I were writing
Makes
this
money.
is I would take a main character who is a pretty average person.
Mhm.
Pretty average, maybe even a good person, but not good enough to take on all this, and then make the arc him becoming.
A better.
Now,
hero.
here's the real question: why does this character have to fight
Yeah.
these demons?
Why this character? What's his state? What's his skin in the game?
Are we keeping it with a like detective noir thing?
Yeah.
Is that what we're?
We can,
Well,
we
we
can do that.
can.
Yeah, we
Then-
can.
Uh-huh.
Okay. What were we? What
we
other
can
options that we were thinking?
Make him a detective.
If
Yeah.
We
we
have a
and
detective.
he's hired.
Well,
to
except now,
investigate.
but we keep on jumping around like a more metaphysical thing. And so, like, but what is the actual like fight going to look like?
Okay.
Is this I'm fighting these guys because they're specifically targeting
The
me?
crime ring of demons is going to take over if we don't do something.
Well, they've
Okay.
sort of already
But,
taken over.
yeah.
It's more-
Or has taken
Ghostbusters.
over. Yeah.
I think it's more along the like we can't like defeat the 7 deadly sins. So what if like you try to banish them back away from the human world?
Yeah.
That's basically what
Yeah.
he's been hired to
Okay.
do.
Well, I don't know if he's
Okay.
been hired so much to go, but he's going to have to figure out
You're saying
what's going on a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kind of
So
more
what's
along
his
the
skin in
lines
the
of he
game?
was hired to try to figure out what was going on with a bunch of connected crime things going on,
Right.
and he started looking into it, and he eventually
starts
realized,
realizing,
oh, there
they're
are
here.
demons here, and no one would believe him, so he ended up deciding, hey, this is my town, I'm going to help it.
Uh-huh.
And then he teams up with other supernatural beings.
Yeah.
Now, it would be nice to
You could
throw a
also-
little more stake in the game on this.
Yeah, that's what I'm
because-
saying.
Good
Okay,
point.
because
You
as
could have it be so that the crime ring of demons, I'm just going to call it the demon ring, could have like either like murdered his family or done something that has basically ruined his family, and so in order to. It could literally start as a revenge plot where he's like, I'm going to
Mhm.
take them down, and then he has to learn to
You
overcome
could do
that.
that.
Okay, but you
Um,
don't have to go. They murdered his family.
you
We
could
don't have to go
also-
that dark.
You
You-
could also do
Well, yeah, but no
something
one's else
that's-
giving me an idea.
Well, I was trying
That's
to.
okay.
You actually interrupted me. I was going to say
It's okay.
one thing is that as soon as he starts opening doors
Mm-hmm.
and getting and finding things out, they are going to have a vendetta against him. They are going to
Yeah.
come after him with everything they have. They're going to come after him. They're
Mhm.
going to have to come after his family. They're going to come after his business. They're going to come
Mhm.
after everything. And they don't have to kill all his family. He can he can
Get
stop
them
that.
into hiding, or
But
you
yeah,
know,
he can get them into hiding. But
maybe the angels
because
protect
he's
his
got to
family,
protect his
so he
family, he's
can-
got to protect, he
Mhm.
is under attack. That gives him right there a big stake in the.
I think
in
one way you
the
can
game.
get started on him investigating the demon ring is, let's say his younger brother gets in debt, and so his younger brother goes to the casino
Oh, that's good.
to repay his debts or whatever, and he never leaves the casino. And so our detective starts to investigate the casino,
Mhm.
and that's when he meets Greed or finds out that there's demons working in the
Mhm.
casino, and that later spirals him into learning more about the seven deadly sins.
That works pretty well.
That could be a good hook, and like
Uh-huh.
it's not the whole reason to take down the demon ring is a specific reason, but it's like there's a stake that he has that leads him to be like,
Mhm.
oh, now this is actually a problem.
Yeah.
Right.
I had a slightly similar idea where someone like a brother got into debt, got into trouble, and started putting his name down to pay, IOUs from, and started putting his brother's name in so that to get himself out of trouble. And so now he's getting he's getting bills and getting contacted by these people saying you owe us money, and he's going, oh wait, what? So
Okay,
those could go together, though. You
depending
could do
on
both.
what you want the little brother to be, what you want there. But if you make it so that the brother is doing this could be part of your arc, is the healing of the two relationship.
Yeah.
Because
Definitely
they
could.
obviously, if he's doing that, they are not on good terms to start with.
No,
but that
probably
could
not,
be interesting.
but-
Okay, well, we've got a villain, we've got a hero,
Yeah.
we've got definitely some places we could throw in a girl for him. That's not hard in this.
Yeah.
And we've got a setting and a plot and all those things. So, who could write this?
Ooh, who could write this?
I could write
Who would
this.
have fun
It's
writing
not my
this?
typical style, but I could
I
write this.
write this. I'm.
I see you.
If
Actually-
actually, it's going to be very allegorical and symbolic.
I was
if
gonna
that's
say,
okay.
I really see Julia doing this, but she's not here.
I
I would
could
love-
possibly write it, but I'd more pull inspiration from it.
I would love to write this.
Honestly, I would
I
love
could
to
see you
write
doing
this,
a
but
really
it would be
good
the
job with
exact
this.
opposite of you doing it. I would not
Yours
go
would not
allegorical
be
at
as
all. It would
allegorical.
Mine
just
would be sort of like a mixture. It would still
In the
be
middle?
they would still be supernatural elements, like they would still be demons, but what they do is more allegorical in how they mess with people instead of just being straight
Mhm.
demons trying to reap souls.
Now, if I was going
Nice.
to write this and get really excited about writing it, I would, definitely take it outside of our world,
Okay.
or the modern world at all.
no.
What you could do.
Yeah.
All right,
Ah.
so we all have our ideas and we'd all write it differently. We'd love to hear how you'd write it and
Mhm.
your ideas on it. And don't
Give us
forget to
some
put
ideas.
prompts in for our hat, please. We'll see you next time.